So hello, I'm Naresh Bharasagar. I'm B.Tech student from in CS in IIT Guwahati. So the topic of this presentation is file management in Windows XP. So Microsoft Windows XP. You heard the sound? So it actually is an operating system developed by Microsoft as a part of Windows NT OS family. It came in 2001 after Windows 2000. So it had a very highly attractive user interface. The Windows 2098 you might have seen, if you might have seen, it had a very poor graphics and it didn't look well. So it was released in two major editions, Home Edition, Professional Edition. After, and at that time, updates for it came to be bundled as a service pack discs, SP1, SP2, SP3, and so on. And now it has changed to the automatic update system. And as a fact, XP was short for experience, and it got and support ended in 8th April 2014. So Microsoft announced that it would be ending support and no more updates would be given. On September 23, 2020, recently, 2 months ago, Windows XP SP1 source code was leaked. It is actually still used in 2022, 2020. It's still used by many users, by lawyers, retail stores, old business offices and all. They still use it. And despite the end of support, Microsoft kept releasing security updates because you might know that security updates are necessary. So what is file management? Let's go to the basic concepts. The process of naming, storing, and retrieving files. This is what we want in file management. And if done efficiently, it will save a lot of time. It is nothing but a soft version of what we used to have as a traditional document arrangement. You can see on the right the physical folders, then the cupboards, and then the rooms. That its soft version is what we call file management in an OS. It helps to store them in separate folders, which we call directories. What is the objective of file system? To meet the data management needs, to guarantee data integrity, to optimize the performance of whatever we want to do in there, to minimize the potential of lost or destroyed data, to provide I/O interface routines, and to provide I/O support for multiple user systems. The general hierarchy looks like this. We have a root directory and then different directories for different users, under which we have different files, or we might have different subdirectories too. We'll get into the storage hierarchy of Windows XP specifically later. So what are the user requirements for file management system? The ability to create, read, write, delete, and modify files. That is the basic we want. The controlled access to other user files, for which we use permissions in Windows XP. The ability to restructure them, the ability to backup and recover in case of a damage, the efficient and quick querying of required files. These are the file management concepts. The attributes, which are the characteristics of file, the operations, with the operations or tasks that can be performed on that, the access permissions, and the file systems. This is the most important part, the file system, the logical method of file storage on disk. This is how the Windows XP storage hierarchy looks like. We have the main OS, and then we have the disk drives. Then we have different branches, maybe for different users, or under user, the different folders are there. So it may be documents, pictures, videos, and all. Then under which we can create different subfolders or we can create files. So we come to the main topic of our presentation, the Windows XP file management system. So the file management system in Windows XP is My Computer. The icon My Computer you used to see, that is what is the file management system. And if you open it, you can see the whole storage hierarchy from there. The drives under which you can see the different folders, under which we can see the specific files. And that is what you see. Everything and you want to store is actually stored as a file. That is the basic unit you see in a GUI. NTFS. This is the most expanding and a covering part of our presentation, new technology file system, and that is what does everything, almost everything of our file management system. So this is what works behind making files look like individual files. It is a logical disk component that manages how data is stored, the base of all file management in Windows operating systems, and it superseded FAT. That was a previous file system and it actually superseded it. It provides a combination of performance, reliability, and compatibility. And there are many metadata files. Whenever you format a hard disk using NTFS, these are the files that are to be stored first to access the hard disk. So an NTFS volume looks like this. There is a file system metadata, The user files, under the file system metadata, there is so much included, and almost everything used to access the data files is included in this metadata. The partition boot sector, the MFT, and the system files. So what is the partition boot sector? As you might have guessed, it actually consists of the bootloader functions, which is used to boot the OS. That's what it does. It is stored in the 0 to 16 sectors of our hard disk, the first 16 sectors, 16 or 17 sectors, and it actually loads our OS, and a spare copy of it is also stored in the last sector to have reliability. The master file table. Every file stored on an NTFS volume has to have a corresponding record in this master file table. Any file, it might even be a metadata file, every file has to have a record in there, because any file you access needs attributes, and these attributes are to be stored in this MFT. And actually the smaller files, which are lesser than 512 bytes or something, they are completely stored in the MFT. These are all the system files that are needed. I can't go into go into them one by one, but you might see them here. Let's come to the part where we implemented the physical folders we used to use traditionally into the software version. We have a hierarchical parent-child structure of directories and subdirectories. Every directory we create has an entry in the MFT. So you can see on the top right there is MFT directory entry, and that's how it looks like, which points to different file and all the files which the directory has. So NTFS uses the B-tree data structure. It is a very advanced data structure. If you have studied advanced data structure course, you might have heard about this. So it uses B-tree data structure for faster access. It is very much better in terms of performance than FAT, because FAT used to use linked list. Now NTFS implements links between directories and files using a directory entry table. Coming to the security and permissions. For security and permissions, we assign a security descriptor that defines the owner. You can see on the right bottom there is security descriptor, and that's how it looks like. It consists of two access control lists, discretionary and system. And on the top there is a performance hack performance technique actually used in Windows XP or further Windows systems. It consists of a security descriptor hash and then a security ID. The last part of our presentation, the data integrity and recoverability. To ensure that data is consistent in there, we maintain a journal or a log file. So every operation we do on a file is actually maintained as a transaction and is logged into our journal. So in case of failure or power shutdown or anything, whenever we power on the system again, it checks the journal and it ensures that all the transactions in there are appearing on the volume, and if not, it executes them all. So this avoids data corruption or anything. So it's a very important part of file management system. Thank you. Have a good day.